Welcome to the Wingmen Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my wingman, my man, the number one guy I know, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother? Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. I have a wingman. I have a friend. It's my main man, Dr. Paul Thompson. How are you, brother Paul?
Well, Commander Drew, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. It looks like you're good. It looks like are you still at sea? You've been at sea for a while. It looks like you're still in the water.
No, I'm back, but I wanted to give props to Virgin Voyages, which we'll talk about in a little while. But no, I'm back home on dry land on terra firma. And so we'll start off with a quote of the day, and I'm going to even get Ace to chime in on this quote of the day. So, Ace and Dr. Paul, the quote of the day is, never underestimate how saying yes to something widely out of your comfort zone can change your life for the better. That's by Case Kennedy. One more time. Never underestimate how saying yes to something widely out of your comfort zone can change your life for the better. What do you think about that, Ace?
I think that's a pretty awesome quote, Commander. It's a great reminder that stepping out of your comfort zone can really open up some life-changing opportunities. And honestly, it fits right in with everything you do, whether it's the Wingman Show, taking on new projects, or just saying yes to a new adventure. So I'm all in for that mindset.
That's great, Ace. Dr. Paul, what do you think about the quote?
Yeah, I think that's a great quote. And as long as something positive, it's good. One good thing about the quote, he didn't say, there's nothing said about the age you have to be. Didn't say young, didn't say old, didn't say middle age. You can always do something. And that's something we push on the show is to stay active physically and also mentally. Try something new every once in a while. It doesn't have to be dangerous or no one's asking you to jump out of a plane necessarily, although that might not be a bad adventure too. Do something other than sit around and watch TV or videos all day.
Well, I think you and I are perfect examples for this quote. I mean, flying Navy jets off aircraft carriers, that was wildly out of my comfort zone. And actually, just flying was out of my comfort zone. But look where it got us. So,
Right.
trying this, doing this podcast when we first started, Dr. Paul, that was way out of our comfort zone. And yet we pressed on, we did reps and reps. And now we're at 225 shows. So I agree with this quote 100%. All right, the name of our show this week is Get Your Mojo Back. Reclaim your spark, start popping again. And Dr. Paul, one of the things in waking up every day is you have to have a little bit of energy. You have to have a little fire in your belly. And I just found out scientifically that there's something in you called mitochondria that actually is your body's energy plant. It's the powerhouses of the cell. It's responsible for converting food into energy. It manages cell death and performs other vital functions. Now, check this out. With age, they become less efficient, leading to fatigue, muscle loss, and frailty. This decline isn't inevitable. Lifestyle habits can increase mitochondria and restore vitality. Dr. Paul, believe it or not, I just saw something in the paper today, or actually in my email, that says you can now buy this stuff called MitoPure for longevity. It's $100 a month. You can do that, or listen to this, Paul. These are some things that you can do for free that I think will be much better for you to actually get that mitochondria back. One of them, the key habits to reclaiming it, is keep moving. And you love that word move. Aim for 150 minutes a week of moderate activity plus 2 strength days. That means you got to start lifting some weights. Prioritize your sleep. Treat sleep as repair time, which is so true. Avoid naps, rule out apnea and medical issues. Narrow your eating window. I want you to talk about this too, Dr. Paul. Try the 16 and 8 intermittent fasting. It's sustainable. It actually improves your energy and clears damaged mitochondria. and stay social. Connection and positivity boosts mitochondrial energy productions. And the last one, break patterns. Novelty stimulates brain and body. Try new hobbies or join other activities. Dr. Paul, please tell me how you would want to talk about these key habits to reclaiming your spark.
Well, two things jump out right away. That part about exercise, I read that too. Just basic exercise. The strength days are good. I do. I don't have a gym membership anymore. I got a lot of stuff in my garage, but I do a lot of body weight exercise. I think that counts too, as much if not more. You can even hurt yourself if you don't do it right. But there's just a lot that you can do. I don't know. I probably did like 200 push-ups yesterday over a period of time with different things that help. But also the eating window. That's 16-8. I typically do that. Sometimes not so much, but you really need to give your body like at least 12 hours off from eating. That's like a best practice in general. But I did a 24-hour fast. I do that every once in a while, from like Sunday to Monday. Sunday night, eat something. Try not to eat again until Monday night. That's kind of long. I'm good till like around 2 in the afternoon. Gets a little tough. Go do something, and you can get that 24 hours. Do that every once in a while. So, I think those are the two things that stood out for me.
Oh, you're actually so right. A friend of little Drew's who played basketball with him at the University of Texas, Gabe Menekes, he's like a son to me also. And I once told him, I said, my knees and my shoulders are hurting. What can I do for it, Gabe? You know what he told me? He said, stop eating. He said, if you stop eating, your body will take time to repair itself. But if you eat all the time, that's all your body's doing. It's just digesting food. So I think that's great. Now, Paul, there's 5 fast fatigue fixes. You want to tell us about them?
Yeah, the fast fatigue fixes is the major one is drinking water. In fact, I've got some with me right now. Most people don't drink enough water, and beverages and colas and sodas don't count. In fact, that'll hurt you. That's just liquid sugar. That's another discussion. But drinking water is very, very important. Also, get outside, get some sun on your face. There's a comedian that talked about that. That was one of his stand-up routines. Go outside and get some sun on your face. But everybody needs that vitamin D. And the darker you are, the more of that that natural sunlight you really do need. And it helps you. That lack of vitamin D can lead to so many things. So get your blood checked for that too, for vitamin D. Make sure you're not low on it. Get moving, move every 30 minutes. We should actually be doing jumping jacks during this podcast at some point. Doing something because that's about how long the shows go. Every 30 minutes. I try to do that when I'm sitting. I forget most of the time, but what I'll do when I do think about it, I'll get up and I'll just in my chair, I'll do some squats. I do 25 to 50, which I think counts. That's a big muscle group. A cold water blast. Get yourself with some cold water. You can do it a commanded view cold dip for a few minutes, or take a cold shower. I do the cold shower things, and that works. That will wake you up. And also really getting you out of your comfort zone. Unless you start with warm water, you go to cold. That'll get you out of your comfort zone, get your blood moving. And try different scents, peppermint and citrus. And I've done that. I've got a little spray here, and I like the citrus stuff. It wakes up your senses. And that's a way to get yourself moving. It makes yourself feel good.
Those are good fatigue fixes right there. I have to tell you, let's start off with that sniffing peppermint. When I was in Istanbul, I got these crystals, these peppermint crystals, that if you put it in a little bit of hot water, I mean, it will blow you up. You won't have any mucus in your body. It is an amazing thing. And like Dr. Paul said, I have a cold dip. So dipping in that cold really gives you a boost. And one other thing that's real important, stepping outside, restoring yourself to nature, getting in tune with nature. Dr. Paul's mother and my mother said one thing that was very much in common: step outside, look in the sun, hold your arms out and recharge your batteries. That is so important. And you said this, darker skin actually needs more sun because the melanin in our bodies actually protects us from the sun. So you need to stay out there just a little bit longer, as long as you get some sunscreen on you. And here's the bottom line, Dr. Paul: energy loss isn't automatic with age. By moving daily, sleeping deeply, you eat smart, you stay social, refreshing routines, you can reclaim your spark and keep that body and brain vibrant. Or you can pay $100 a month and take a pill, which I don't think would be as good as the natural ones. Do you agree, Paul?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say, avoid the pills if you could. Let's go outside and move around a little bit, see how that works before we get into pharmacology.
And you asked me if I was out at sea. No, I'm not at sea now. I'll be going back in a month on Virgin Voyages. And I want to say once again to Richard Branson and the Virgin Voyages crew, thank you so much for taking care of the Wingman Show. You treated us like VIPs. We really appreciate it. You gave us the Wi-Fi necessary to do our shows on your ship. You're a great ship. You're a great cruise line. And the people who work there are just the bomb. And I did a Mediterranean transatlantic, and I was on the ocean 8 days straight to cross the ocean. And Paul, it brought back a lot of memories. And that whole thing with mitochondria, as far as getting in touch with nature, man, I sit on that fantail and I look out at that great big ocean that's 2/3 of the world. And I feel so small, but I feel so connected with God and with nature, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, I can see that because that's the thing about being at sea. You realize, I think being at sea and being in the air many times, you realize how very small you are. We think a lot of ourselves, but it's like, no, you could be, I would say you go overboard, nobody can find you. I mean, they're still looking for airplanes that have giant jets that have gone down and not finding them. We're not as big and mighty as we think when we get out of again, our comfortable environment.
That's so true. That Atlantic Ocean. So, and you know this, that we know more about space than we do about our own oceans, and that always trips me out. All right, Dr. Paul, let's do that. Good news. That's what the Wingman Show does. We're trying to bring you energy, motivation, and good news. Well, we did a show a couple of weeks ago that Columbia University, they found a sperm using a high-powered microscope, actually the kind that they use for the stars. And they found a sperm that you couldn't find it. The recovery method was only at Columbia. Well, guess what, Dr. Paul? We just read that they actually have developed a successful pregnancy using that new artificial intelligence method that developed to help with male infertility. So that sperm actually got somebody pregnant, Paul.
Well, so it worked. So the technology worked, and well, hopefully the pregnancy works out too. And I'm sure when the baby is born, that'll be huge news too. You probably see it all over the place.
That's right. All right. How about this good news, Dr. Paul? Remember when we first started flying? I think you flew a civilian little Cessna the first time. The
Hmm.
first time I flew was a T-28 Trojan. It was loud as hell, big as hell, strong as hell. But we kept moving up until you flew A7s, I flew A6s, and then we went into the airlines flying 727s, DC-10s, and then the big one, the 777 that you and I both flown. But guess what? What if I told you the world's largest airplane is being built right now? It's called the Wing Runner, and it'll be the length of an NFL football field and expected to have a wingspan of over 260 feet. It can actually offer 12 times the cargo space of a Boeing C-17. Is that not incredible? It's going to be used to bring windmill blades all over the world. Tell me about this big ass airplane, Paul.
Yeah, I looked at it. That's going to be a big airplane. I'm wondering where you gonna fly it though. Where it will fit. Let's see. That wingspan is about 50 feet wider than a 777. So it's going to have a lot of space. I saw also they're going to mount the engines up really high because they're probably going to land on some I won't say uncontrolled, but unpaved roads, unpaved whatever. to be able to land in a rough conditions, which you can do. And like a C-17 can do that. And there's actually some civilian jets that can actually do that too. But they want to be able to put these giant wind turbine blades, the ones you see spinning around, to put them in there. And also, they said to transport fighter jets whole and helicopters whole, because now they'll break them down in pieces and stick them on a cargo plane, fly them wherever, and put them together. And now they want to be able to just trolley the whole thing over in one fell swoop. So that's pretty big.
That's incredible. What a big ass plane. And for you YouTubers, Instagram and TikTok is out there, we'll have pictures of this plane out there. Now, Paul, what if you took your child who was having some reading difficulties like dyslexia, and you took her to take a test, and all of a sudden you found out that she was top 1% of everybody's IQ? Well, that actually happened in England, the United Kingdom. Poppy O'Malley Flock. She took a test for dyslexia because she's having trouble with spelling. And they discovered that she has an IQ of 136. And that's actually in the top 1% of the entire United Kingdom. And now she's been invited to join that high IQ society, Mensa. You imagine that, taking your child to find out that their reading difficulties has actually shown that they're a genius?
Yeah. I guess we can all have these great potentials within us, even though it looks maybe a little grim on the outside. If I'm not mistaken, isn't the founder Richard Branson of Virgin Voyages and the Virgin brand? I believe he's dyslexic too. I think I remember him saying that. You can check me on that.
Wow.
You know,
That's amazing. Well, he belongs in Mensa because he put out a badass Virgin Voyages cruise line and airplanes and record producing companies. So he might have a high IQ also. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching our show, The Wingmen Show. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for writing your letters and being positive influences in Dr. Paul's and my life. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for listening to us on Apple Podcasts or watching us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you all so, so much for your positive support. We really appreciate it. And if you want to look at some badass jets, look at the one behind Dr. Paul. Dr. Paul has that bad F4. Both of us really love this airplane. And that F4 is actually from a fighter squadron that was on the Nimitz. But Dr. Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about your airplane?
yeah, I say everybody, maybe it's the first time listener or viewer here. The F4 was a mainstay of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and flew well into the 90s as a premier jet fighter for United States and a number of other countries. I won't list all the countries, and just about all the services except the Army use them. Great airplane, flew against them a number of times. Very, very impressive. Just the lines of it just always got me. But I saw this picture, and it just something about the picture just brought back some memories. I couldn't tell. I said, that's a great shot, and it looks like the thing is flying over Mount Fuji. And I looked a little closer, and I said, no, it's not in Japan. It's in Italy. It's Mount Etna, Italy. I said, okay. And then I realized, wait a minute, I've got a picture of Mount Etna, Italy, but I'm flying the airplane, and we'll show it here. And it's funny how things, you'll see little things, it brings back a memory. You don't know why, but your intuition, lets you know that you have a relationship to it. And I found that I was flying over the same mountain and almost had a midair collision while we are taking the picture. Someone's got to take the picture, and there's no autopilot. So we're basically looking at each other so we don't smack into each other, not looking at anything else. And I remember one day we were doing it. I think Steve White was taking the picture of me, and the sky, it gets dark. It's a beautiful sunny day. It gets dark. And we kind of looked forward, and it was like 4 F4s just flew right over us. And they were taking pictures too. Nobody's talking on the radios or anything. It's we're just kind of sightseeing. So see and avoid. If you're flying an airplane, that's the first thing you learn. Always look to the outside.
Well, Dr. Paul, does that mean you got thumped again, but now by a formation of 4 F4s?
Well, no, we didn't get thumped. It wasn't like that. There was a little separation, thank God. Uh, but everybody, I guess brilliant minds think alike, or crazy people do the same things.
Well, that's a great story there. Thank you so much. Everybody out there, we have a website, and that website is wingmenshow.com. That's Wingmen Show, WINGMENSHOW.com. And on our website, we have a couple things. First thing we have is a great newsletter. And the newsletter this week will be how to be there for a friend when they don't even ask. And the other thing on our website, thewingmanshow.com, is our frequent flow line. And that's where you guys out there get to write Dr. Paul and myself a letter, and now even Ace. And so that's what I'm going to do now. I am going to read our frequent flow line letter to Dr. Paul, Ace, and myself. And here it goes. Dear Commander Brown, Dr. Paul, and Ace, this is your loyal listener writing in from money-making Mount Vernon, New York. I'm a 56-year-old man, happily married for over 2 decades, but lately I've been struggling with something that's really starting to bother me. My wife is constantly shopping. It's not about the money. We're doing fine financially, but it's the constant need to buy things, whether she's on the phone scrolling through online stores or spending hours at the mall. It feels like she's always chasing something new. Clothes, home decor, gadgets, you name it, she's got it. Meanwhile, I'm trying to simplify my life, clear out the clutter, and live lighter. I can't help but wonder if there's something deeper going on. Maybe an emptiness she's trying to fill, or stress she's not talking about. I don't want to approach this without making her defensive. And honestly, how can I get some peace of mind myself? Because watching it happen day after day is starting to weigh on me. Any advice from the wingman would mean a lot. Respectfully, a concerned husband in money-making Mount Vernon, New York. Ace, why don't you take it?
Absolutely, Commander. That's a heartfelt letter and a really relatable situation. So let's break it down wingman style. First off, to our concerned husband and money making Mount Vernon, you're definitely not alone. A lot of people find themselves in that dynamic where one partner is kind of on a shopping spree kick and the other's trying to simplify and live lighter. I think the best advice we can give as the wingman is start with a really open, gentle conversation. Let her know it's not about the money, just like you said, but more about wanting to understand if there's something she's feeling or something she might not have talked about yet. And at the same time, share how you feel. Let her know that it's weighing on you a bit and you're just looking for a little mutual understanding. Ultimately, it's all about teamwork. And hey, sometimes just saying yes to that conversation, even if it's a little outside the comfort zone, can lead to a much better understanding on both sides. So you got this, and we're rooting for you.
Thank you so much, Ace. What do you think about that, Paul?
Yeah, that sounds from the sound of the letter. I didn't know they make a lot of money in Mount Vernon. I don't think I've ever been there. That's just outside the Bronx. Good for him. But I think that has something to do with what they call, I've heard the term, maybe you have too, retail therapy. I've heard some women say that retail therapy and they go shopping. So it sounds like this is something that just kind of popped up just recently. If he's seeing the thing uptick, it's like I got a good friend of mine that has it. It's not his wife, it's him, and he's got like Amazon stuff coming every day because I know that because his wife asked me about it actually. So, I think he's having a hard time with retirement. But in any case, more likely there could be something going on if you're you're accumulating junk and you may be like us, you're trying to get rid of stuff. The stuff I'm trying to get rid of, especially as you get older. To see, what is the reason for that? If it's excessive, if you're tripping over it, why is that? I'd say just ask her, why do you have all this stuff?
Well, to me, Dr. Paul, I think communications, and you said that, communication is the best advice I can give you, having an open conversation. And you probably need to have an open conversation like, what are you looking for? What are you missing? Maybe we can get it together. Or you can even maybe give a suggestion that every time you do get something, can we get rid of something? So we're not just piling things on and more and more. And what happens is when you have a couple of dollars and money's not the issue anymore, then it's almost like a free for all. But I do believe there is something missing in somebody who has to shop all the time. But the best way to take care of it is not arguing, but it's having an open conversation and maybe asking somebody for some professional help with that. I don't think that that would be a bad idea at all. And that brings me to one of our favorite parts of the show. It's called the Wingman TSA. And from the 11 facts in life, on the fact number 10, would you rather be happy or would you rather be right? Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? I will tell you this, Dr. Paul, I'm on the happy stroke 100%. Forget being right. Being right means nothing. The
Right.
only thing that doesn't change really is simple math. But other than that, everything changes. And things that you thought were right one day just may be wrong. Being happy is the key. What do you think about that PSA, Dr. Paul?
Yeah, that's very important, and it's good to hear you with the megaphone again. We have some friends of the show that really look forward to that part with the thing. Tell them to, because if you don't do that, they get mad. So, so that's good. That's good. We got a little following, but that's true. You know, you've got to have some satisfaction yourself, especially as you get older. I mean, the right and the wrong. I mean, of obvious things, it's important, but who's on top and who's first place, second place. It's good to be competitive, but you can be kind of crazy with that stuff. You know, at some point, you got to live life as long as you're here. So live with some joy.
You're 100% right, Dr. Paul. I tell people all the time there is no scoreboard. Being right is not the biggest thing in the world. You don't get points for being right all the time. You don't lose points for being wrong. Matter of fact, Daddy said, the dumber you are, the smarter you become. So every time you're wrong, you actually learn something.
Sure.
Well, here's the part of the show that I like, and it's the part called the gouge. And we were talking a little while ago about the gouge of how to get your mojo back, reclaim your spark, and start popping again. So, Ace, go ahead and give me the gouge about getting your mojo back, reclaiming your spark, and start popping again in life.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the gouge on getting that mojo back. So, if you're looking to reclaim your spark and start popping again, here's the scoop. First, it's all about mixing up your routine. Sometimes we get stuck in the same old patterns and just doing one new thing, trying a different hobby, meeting up with a new group of people, or even just changing up your daily schedule can reignite that energy. Second, reconnect with something you love. Maybe it's a passion you put on the back burner, like a creative project or a favorite sport. Doing something that genuinely excites you can really bring that spark back. And finally, don't underestimate the power of a little self compassion and patience. Sometimes just giving yourself permission to take a break, recharge, and not be too hard on yourself is exactly what you need. So that's the gouge. Shake up the routine, reconnect with what you love, and be kind to yourself. You'll be popping again in no time.
Well, that's great advice, Ace. And the gouge, that's shit you need to know, but sometimes nobody tells you. And I learned about the gouge in the Navy. The name of our show is called The Wingmen Show, and it's because we always highlight at the end of our show a wingman, somebody who is taking care of somebody else, somebody who is watching their six, being a friend. Dr. Paul, why don't you give us our wingman this week?
Yes, our wingman this week. This takes us to, I guess, the middle of the country. We're at the University of Michigan. And the two individuals in particular we're going to talk about. One is named Mr. Grant Newsom, and the other is Wilton Spike. Grant Newsom they both played for the University of Michigan football team. That's big time college football. And one day during a game with the University of Wisconsin, also very, very, very competitive, there was an injury. William Spate was the quarterback. Grant Newsom was the left tackle. Grant Newsom's job was to protect his quarterback. But in the end, it was the quarterback that protected the left tackle. The problem was Grant Newsom sustained a very, very, very bad leg injury. It's maybe one of those freak things. But he was injured so badly, they were wondering if they'd have to amputate his leg. They did not have to amputate his leg, but he was badly injured and required extensive rehabilitation. And during this time, his football career was over. He was very, very depressed and needed some cheering up, or maybe more than cheering up. And every day while he was hospitalized, at least during the initial period, his quarterback, William Spate, came to visit him to cheer him up when depression started to sink in and take over this young man's life. The happy part of the story is they both went on to do good things. Grant Newsom's football career was over, but he was still able to contribute doing a lot of other things. He graduated, he got 2 degrees. He stayed at the University of Michigan. He's got a bachelor's and a master's in something else, but also he's a part of the football team. He's actually the defensive coordinator for the University of Michigan. He's doing that. It's the young man still in his 20s. And William Spade actually went on to be a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers for a while. This is big time. He did that for a while, but now he is basically in private equity as essentially a venture capitalist, giving out large amounts of money to people trying to start businesses. So both men have been successful to each other and in the world itself. But again, sometimes a wingman is someone that will reach back and help somebody in need when they need help the most.
That's a great story, Paul. And you know, a Wingman Show message, a true wingman doesn't just have your six when the mission is easy. He's there when the smoke fills the cockpit, when your engine flames out, and when the lights go dim, because that's when you find out who your real wingman is. Anybody out there who can hear my voice, whatever you think is important, whatever you think is beautiful, and especially whatever makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. It's good to see you again. And we appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. Send this out to somebody that you know, or even somebody that you don't know. Most of you are not subscribers. Please consider subscribing. If you like what you heard today, give us a like. If you're watching YouTube, it helps. And we appreciate your support once again and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.